Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we have a beer that is half Scottish, half English, and it is actually brewed in English, this one, so I should have said English first. But we're going to return to North Brewing Company, who come from Leeds. You've seen me review a couple of beers involving them before, and this time they've done a collaboration with 6 Degrees North, who are from Stonehaven, just to the south of Aberdeen, where I used to study chemistry. I was at their bar actually in Aberdeen on the opening night, as a good alcoholic does. But yeah, this beer is simply called Belgian IPA. It comes in at 6% ABV and it's brewed using Ardennes and Hull Gold hops. It's a Belgian IPA, as the name suggests. It's a style that I really quite enjoy, and I'm certainly looking forward to this one. North, in my experience, have done some really good IPAs recently. They're apparently doing some very good sours as well, and 6 Degrees North is a brew that I am quite familiar with, and the Belgian style beers that they specialise in are pretty damn good as well. So I thought I had to review this one when I saw it. Thank you to the guys at the Hop Knocker for keeping this one aside for me. This was one that I really wanted to try, but as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. I'm certainly looking forward to trying this one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the breweries involved here. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery websites, linked to my other reviews that I've done, both from North Brewing and from 6 Degrees North. No doubt there will be some more from both of them in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you, and another list for all the Scottish ones. This one will appear in both, and both lists are being constantly added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about North Brewing first, on to my brewery notes. North Brewing, of course, are the lead brewery when it comes to this one. So North Brewing are based in Leeds, and they were founded by John Janelle and Christian Townsley, who owned the North Beer Bar, which opened back in 1997. But today they operate 6 venues around the city. But apparently North Bar used to work quite closely with the likes of James Clay and Vertical Drinks to help promote craft beer throughout the whole of Yorkshire. But the brewery itself is located in the Taverners Walk Industrial Estate, and it has a 200-person tap room along with a 15 BBL brew kit. But the brewers at the brewery are Seb Brink, who used to work for Golden Owl, and Darius Darwell, who used to work for the Bristol Beer Factory. So as I said, in my experience, these guys produce some really nice IPAs. A lot of the sours that they've been doing recently have been quite well received as well. I would like to see them expand into, you know, stouts and porters and things like that at some point, but I think for the moment they are sticking to the lighter styles of beer, if you like. But they've got a good pedigree. The brewers obviously are very experienced, which is why they're producing good beer, and the two guys behind the company itself have a wealth of experience in bar management, and they've been involved in the craft beer scene for nearly 20 years. So, you know, it probably was about time actually that they started brewing their own beers, to be honest. But yeah, really nice company, this one that is really kind of just appeared quite recently actually. I only remember seeing their beers towards the end of 2017 actually, and this is mid-2018, and they are you know, getting all over the place now, which is pretty cool. So if you're interested in Yorkshire craft beer, the North Brewing Company are one that you definitely want to check out. So as always, the brewery website's in the description below, and the Facebook page is there as well. Check them out if you want to learn a little bit more than simply a kind of flyover tour that I've taken you through. But anyway, on to 6 Degrees North then. So as I've told you before, 6 Degrees North are a Belgian style brewery based in Stonehaven, just to the south of the city of Aberdeen. Really pretty little town actually. If you want to go up to the castle and things like that, I do recommend a little day trip to Stonehaven. But the origins of the brewery go back to the Marine Hotel in the Stonehaven Marina, which always used to have a lot of Belgian beers and things like that. They always used to have a lot of Belgian beers on tap when I went, and I went in before they actually opened up 6 Degrees North. I think I was in there like in 2010 or something like that. But as I say, Stonehaven, very pretty little town, famous for its fish and chips, and you know, the Marine Hotel was always a good place to go and have some kind of pub grub there. But the owner, Bob, he used to spend a lot of time in Belgium, and basically he fell in love with Belgian beer and decided that he wanted to brew his own. So the main construction of the brewery was undertaken in Stonehaven in August of 2012, and then the equipment was delivered over the next few months, and the brewery actually, the trial brewing actually started taking place in January of 2013, with the first commercial brews hitting the shelves in March. So they opened their first pub in Aberdeen in May of 2013, and since then they've opened up bars as well in Edinburgh and Glasgow, and all of the pubs stock a huge array of different Belgian beers, as well as kind of having their own stuff on tap and things like that. They do tend to have some of the other local beers there as well, so it's not, while this brewery specialises in Belgian style beer, and you know, they sell a lot of Belgian beers in their bar, I have seen them you know, having regular IPAs and stouts and things like that in the bars themselves from the other local breweries. I'm sure in Glasgow and Edinburgh, when I've been to the bars there, they've had the Fallon beers and things like that on tap, which has been really nice. So yeah, a brewery that really specialises in Belgian beer, but I think they have been getting a little bit more kind of adventurous with things recently. But I've always rated them since they opened up. I think they're I forget, it was the Four Saisons was one that I always used to enjoy. That was a really, really lovely beer. So if you get the chance to try any of the beers from 6 Degrees North, I think you will really enjoy them, because I always found that they have the Belgian feel to them, but you get that nice sort of Scottish clean water kind of feel to them as well. That was one thing I always enjoyed about the 6 Degrees North beers. But it's cool that they've got bars all over the place now, throughout Scotland, I should say. Really a kind of interesting Scottish company, this one. So if you want to learn more about them, as always, the brewery website is in the description below, and you can follow them on Facebook and things like that too. So that's all you really need to know about the breweries for this one. Let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So like I said, this one is a 6% Belgian style IPA. It's hopped using Ardennes hops and also Hull melon, which come from Germany. But yeah, nicely presented beer. You know, this sort of typical style artwork that you get from North Brewing Company. It's almost a kind of little bit like 1970s psychedelic or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure of this one. It's the kind of sort of 1970s sort of graphic design type thing. Peter, of course, at the Clueless Drinker, is the one who can tell you about all of the different art styles and things like that. I'm kind of, I should say, artistically illiterate when it comes to that. I just like drinking the beer and researching the breweries and stuff like that. But without further ado, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So, as you can see, and as you would expect with this one, it's pouring a nice rich golden colour. There's a lot of carbonation in that one. I'm not sure if that's just because I've only just washed the glass, but you can smell some of the lovely yeasty and fruity qualities coming out of this beer. And as you'll always get with a Belgian yeast, you've got that nice big head on the beer, but you can see it's a nice bright golden orange colour. There's a solid finger of a I would say creamy coloured head on this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass. A lot of that little stuff that was just sticking towards the side of it there has kind of disappeared. But yeah, it looks really, really quite nice. I should say the head on this one has gone down from being 2 fingers, but that will go down even further than that, because it was quite a bumpy head of this one. I just realised as well, I forgot that I am actually drinking this beer out of a 6 Degrees North glass, which is one that I got, I think I actually bought that from the brewery on the day that they actually opened up their bar. So yeah, really quite yeah, forgetting about that actually. But yeah, you can smell some of the nice juicy fruity qualities off this one. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see the beer is pretty much completely hazy, but it looks very, very nice. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Oh, I'll tell you something, that is pretty nostalgic. I always remember, it's something, the 6 Degrees North beers, when it comes to the yeasty side of things, it's really quite distinctive. It has this really smooth bready quality. It's nowhere near as like banana-y or clovey or anything like that as you would get with the, you know, with the sort of brewed Belgian beers, if that makes sense. They have their own very unique aroma, I would say. You know, there's like a little hint of banana in there, but it really leans more towards the kind of bready side of things and the wheaty side of things for me. So, and the malt base in this one just smells, the malt base and the yeasty qualities from the 6 Degrees North beers is something that I've always enjoyed. But yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy that. That beer, I'm enjoying that because it really is quite nostalgic for me. It's been quite a long time actually since I've had one of the 6 Degrees North beers. I can't remember the last time I had one of their beers actually. I do need to try and pick up a few bottles of those to take with me to Sweden or whatever, so I've got some Scottish beer while I'm over there. But yeah, it smells lovely, this one. It reminds me of the it does remind me a little bit of the kind of the Saison that they did, the 4 Saisons. That was a lovely, lovely beer. But yeah, take a little bit of time and enjoy that. But a lovely big bready, yeasty sort of thing from this one. Definitely some wheaty notes in there. There's a little touch of banana, I would say, but not all that, not overly much. But it just has a really nice smooth aroma to it. You can definitely pick up a little bit of the kind of melon coming out of this one from the Huel melon hops. There's a little bit of a kind of, yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a nice kind of floral aromatic note and some lighter grassy qualities in there as well. There's almost a little bit of a kind of candied strawberry note to the beer as well, but it pretty much has everything you would expect of the Belgian IPA style. So as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in. But let's have a taste of this one then. So this one is the Belgian IPA, a collaboration between North Brewing Company and 6 Degrees North. A half Scottish, half English beer, this one. Let's get stuck in. Slange Skal, Proust, Santé. Oh, yeah. That's a good beer, that. The first thing you're going to notice about this one is just how kind of clean it is, if that makes sense. It feels like a really smooth, nice, light, clean beer. But yeah, it's really easy to drink this one. Often the Belgian IPAs, they can be a little bit heavy, and Belgian beer generally can be a little bit heavy because of the big yeasty qualities. But that's one of the things I always liked about 6 Degrees North. They were always able to make their beers really drinkable, and I think that was one of the things. It was probably the Scottish water that always kind of helped with that a little bit, because it had that smoothness to it, if it makes sense. But yeah, the malt base in this one is really nice. It actually becomes a little bit spicy as you kind of progress further and further into the flavour. So with this one, you can feel there's a really nice, there's a nice little bit of a sort of smooth, wheaty, bready quality there. That just blankets the middle of your tongue. On top of that, you can feel some of the thicker, doughy, yeasty notes coming out of this beer. I think there's a little bit of a biscuity kind of sweetness right in the middle of the palate there as well. But as I was saying, as you go further and further into the aftertaste of this beer, there is a little bit of a graininess starts to come out of it. It's almost a little bit spicy, like clove, or maybe just a little touch peppery or something like that. It really does taste lovely, this beer. Certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink that again, actually. It really is quite nice. There is a little bit of there is a wee touch of banana, but very, very minimal, just towards the front of the tongue there. But you'll catch that just behind where the fruity qualities of the beer will come out. The hops are quite nice as well. There's a little touch of earthiness in the back corners of the palate there. As you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, you get a little bit of that herbal quality. And as you come towards the very front corners of the palate, it's a little bit more floral. There's a little touch of spiciness in there, but not too much. And then round the very front curve of the palate, that's where you get that lighter kind of grassy note. And there's almost a little bit of a lemony citrus coming out of that one as well, which is quite nice. But of course, just behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where you get that nice oily bubble, where those juicy, fruity esters really start to come out of the beer. So yeah, for me with this one, it is kind of pretty much straight up what you would expect from the Huel melon. It's got that nice melony flavour to it. You can feel that just forming the linchpin of the beer. It actually comes out a little bit more as you go further into the aftertaste. And as you go further and further with that, that's where you start to get a little bit of the kind of strawberry, kind of red fruity note that you'll get from that hop as well. There's definitely a little bit of a lemony, a kind of stronger lemony citrus to this beer as well, and that kind of sits there into the aftertaste. It's a bit of the graininess and the sort of nice bready, yeasty qualities that come out of this beer early on. They kind of stay there into the aftertaste. There's a little bit of the floral quality and the earthiness from the hops just lingering there into the aftertaste as well, and the nice fruity, juicy notes stay there, particularly the lemon and some of the spicy character as well. But overall, in terms of flavour, it's pretty much got everything you would expect of a Belgian style IPA. I really like the base that this beer has. It would be interesting for them to take this forward and do it with some different hops and things like that. You know, use Citra, Mosaic, all of these big American hops, or even some of the New Zealand hops. I think would be really interesting with this. North Brewing were saying this is the first Belgian style IPA that they've done before. But it certainly has turned out quite nicely, and you know, it's quite cool that 6 Degrees North, I'm guessing that 6 Degrees North will kind of have taught them what this sort of style should be like, if that makes sense. And if you know, you're going to get a good beer, if you're going to do a Belgian style beer, you're going to get a good beer out of it when 6 Degrees North are involved. That's, you know, that's a given. In terms of the mouthfeel then, this one's mid-bodied. It's definitely on the lighter side of mid-bodied. Carbonation is very, very smooth. I wasn't expecting that when you saw the amount of carbonation with this one earlier. Overall, the beer has a little bit more of a wet mouthfeel rather than anything else. I was expecting it to be a little bit more oily than it is. It's quite... The malt base and the yeasty qualities aren't quite as pronounced as you might get in some Belgian IPAs, and likewise it's not quite as hoppy as you would get from some Belgian IPAs, but it's definitely meant to be a kind of, I think this one is a little bit more sessionable. At 6%, you know, session IPA is debatable. Usually it's something below 5% you want a session IPA to be, but this one for me it's really, really drinkable. I think it's fair to say that about it. The malt base is mainly quite smooth with those yeasty qualities kind of blending in with that, and there's a little bit of a spicy character to it as well. There's a nice little bit of hoppy bitterness, but by no means is this beer going to blow your head off in terms of IBUs, and there is a little bit of that nice juicy fruity quality to it as well. But overall, for me, it's a really solid beer, this one. It's not quite as pronounced and kind of punchy as some of the Belgian IPAs you'll come across, but this one I think is intended to be a nice kind of easy-going sort of drinking Belgian IPA, if that makes sense, because I think a lot of people are put off a little bit sometimes with Belgian beers because of how heavy they can be. I mean, I've always found with Belgian beer you can only really drink one of them, and even with the Belgian IPAs I would only drink one of them at a time, to be honest. It's not a style that I would consider sessioning, but with this one, you know, you could definitely get away with that. So if you enjoy the Belgian IPA style but you want something that's a little bit easier to drink, then I think this one could be, you know, you could be right on the money with this one actually. I think that's a good way to kind of describe it. A nice Belgian IPA, but just a little bit more kind of sessionable than you would normally find. So yeah, thumbs up to the guys at North and 6 Degrees North for this one. Hopefully this beer, hopefully they use the base of this beer and experiment a little bit more, because I really like the way that the base of this beer kind of comes out, and I do need to try some more of the newer 6 Degrees North beers actually. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are, both from North Brewing Company and from 6 Degrees North. If you're watching from the sort of Aberdeen area, you're familiar with 6 Degrees North, do please tell me which of the newer beers I should have from 6 Degrees North, because I really want to review a few more of those, because it's been a long time since I did a 6 Degrees North review. But thank you once again for watching. Make sure you check out my social media, and I will catch you guys again very soon. This was the Belgian IPA, 6% from North Brewing Company, brewed in collaboration with 6 Degrees North, one of my old breweries that I used to love, from Stonehaven in Aberdeenshire in Scotland. A really nice beer, this one. Definitely more of a kind of sessionable Belgian IPA than I've come across before. So well done to both breweries involved. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Slàinte, skål.